And we should be live. I'm just gonna give it a minute until I can see that you are indeed here with me in the chat. Welcome everyone. And here you are. Welcome Emma, welcome Sanson again, welcome everyone. So we've got about 10 minutes before to start. We are just waiting here for everyone to connect. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me properly. If any of you are watching this on replay in the next few days or weeks, if you wanted to skip the hellos and go straight into the tour, you could skip the next 10 minutes precisely, 10 minutes to start. You can hear me well, perfect, thank you. Welcome Mitzi. Hi again Catherine. Hi again Sanson. By the way, once again, you know, I've got all those little cables, so I'm just gonna check that you can hear me through the microphone and not through the telephone. Welcome, Michelle. So I'm gonna tap the microphone 3 times. Let me know if you can hear that. You should be able to hear it. Hi, Lethargy. Let me know in the chat if you've heard the tapping. And as usual, if at any time through the tour you start hearing some wind noises, it's because the microphone got disconnected. So don't be shy, let me know in the chat if that happens. Yes, you did, perfect, lovely. Hi Marianne, perfect, thank you Rose. Yeah, because I've got those 2 little adapters now, so it's basically 3 different connections that could be that could get disconnected, especially when I'm abroad, because I've got this little bag at the front, you know, not to be pickpocket or anything, so it could trigger the microphone. Sound okay, perfect, thank you John, thanks Linda, nice to see you here. And Sam is here as well, welcome Sam. So we've got 9 minutes to go. I was just sitting here having a mint tea. Loud and clear, thank you Cynthia. Let me show you my tea, because it's like the national drink over here. And I've got a cute little teapot. Happy New Year's, yes, Happy New Year's to everyone I've not seen the other day. And welcome Herbie. Let me put this back down again. I don't know why I scheduled that tour so late. I'm actually exhausted. That's why I'm sat here. I didn't want to stay in my hostel because I would have fallen asleep for sure. Yes, it is minty. Yeah, I didn't get much sleep since I saw you last. So when I did the tour in Koshi, I had one night in a hostel that night, but I couldn't sleep because I was in a dorm. Well, I actually slept a few hours, and then at 1:30 a.m., new people arrived in the dorm, and the guy from the reception, he came to sleep with us in the dorm, and he put the aircon to the maximum, so I was actually frozen. And I couldn't tell him off because he was the boss. I mean, he was the guy from the hostel. So I actually took my little duvet and I went to sleep in the corridors, in the communal areas. And then obviously I didn't get much sleep. And then that's the day I went to the airport. And the night after that, I was on a plane and waiting 9 hours in Jeddah. And that's it, no other nights. So I basically didn't sleep much since I last saw you. Hi Rosemary, and welcome anyone else that just joined. Nice to see so many of you here already. We still have, let me check, 7 minutes to go. We're waiting for everyone to connect. So if any of you are watching this on replay in the next few days or years, feel free to skip another 7 minutes. So I've just arrived in Casablanca this morning at 6 a.m. It's Sherlock Holmes' birthday. Good fun fact. Didn't know. Happy birthday, Sherlock. Irony. And that's my tea done. Hi Trista, nice to see you here. Was I able? No, Laurie, you know what? I was under the impression that I had a tourist visa for Saudi, because when I bought the ticket, they did ask me if I wanted one, so I thought I was done. But then I checked the prices to go down to the city center. It would have been $70 one way. So that would have costed me $140 anyway, just to go into town. So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go on a walk by the airport. My sister was like, no, you shouldn't walk. It's not the type of streets you can walk on. And the day before, I realized that I didn't actually have a transit visa. I would have had to pay some kind of health insurance for those few hours. And I had to apply for it. There was one more step of the process. So no, I didn't get out of the airport. I was stuck in there for 9 hours. That was a very interesting flight though, because I think I was the only one that was not on my way to Mecca, because from Koshi to Jeddah, everyone was on a pilgrimage to Mecca. And then from Jeddah to Morocco, to Casablanca, I think everyone was on their way back from Mecca. So I felt a bit like out of place, really. Even when I got to the passport control, obviously everyone was coming from Jeddah. And the guy was like, where are you coming from? And I was like, India. I was going to say Mecca. I wanted to say Mecca to see his face, but I didn't. And then he looked at my passport. He was like, why don't you speak French? I'm like, I do, but you spoke to me in English, so I'm talking to you in English. But yeah, I was a bit confused because everyone else was coming back from a pilgrimage. They are flooding in Jeddah? Oh, I didn't see. I guess I didn't check the news at all. Let me check the time. 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes before it's officially time to get started. Apologies about the traffic noises. It's quite a big road, but we'll make a move in a sec anyway. Well, glad I didn't get out of the airport if they're flooded anyway. It wasn't even raining when I was there because I had a good view from the airport windows. I think you can go at any time. There were some big groups, like organized groups, where they were wearing the same branding. So I think they would have been on their way there. I could be wrong. Didn't really ask, but pretty sure they would have been going there. But 20 years ago, you had to. They were for Linda as well. You just had an ad for tuna. Does that make you want to have a tuna sandwich? Yeah, it was boring, but you know, on my way, I actually spent 12 hours in Belgrade airport, so 9 is better. That's what you have to do if you want the cheap tickets, especially at this time of the year. So yeah. Saudi was funny though, because at some point I was watching a movie, the Count of Monte Cristo, a French movie. It's not even about medieval times. It's about a guy in a French prison in the 19th century. And I was watching it in French because that's the original version, but somehow I had the subtitles in English. And at some point, one of the characters is talking to the other one, and he's talking about the Crusades. And they didn't alter the audio, the French audio, but in the subtitles, they actually blurred the terms Crusades. So you're not meant to talk about that on Saudi. How cheap was my ticket with the layovers? Laurie, I don't remember. The way in, I know I spent about 300, but bear in mind it was only a few days before Christmas, but that was a crazy amount of layover. I mean, I had 12 hours in Belgrade. Then I actually went to Abu Dhabi to catch a bus to Dubai. Then I had many hours in Dubai, but that was fine because I was with my sister. But that was half the price of what it would have costed me if I took a different company. And even different companies, they would have been different companies, so I would take the risk of missing one. If I wanted to go like British Airways or whatever, I would have had to spend 1,000. So that was a bit out of my budget. And Koshi to Casablanca, I didn't spend much, but I didn't want to come to Casablanca. I only came here because I couldn't fly to Rabat. It was just way too expensive. So I'm actually alone here. I'm meeting my friend in Rabat tomorrow. Anyway, I think it might be time. Yes, it is officially time to start. Let me pick up the camera and let's make a move. Right, welcome everyone. Welcome to Casablanca. And without further ado, let me flip this camera around and let me show you the view. We've got a beautiful building over here. That's why I started here. This is the Sacré-Cœur Cathedral. So the Secret Heart in French. It's it's called a cathedral, but apparently it was never really a cathedral anyway. So it was a Catholic church at the time of the French protectorate. So I'm just focusing on the road. It's quite difficult to cross over here because there's no little green man. Well, it's actually quite difficult to cross anywhere around here. You never know where to go. Right. No, not now. There we go. So yeah, that was built at the time of the French, and it was actually the building was finished just before the French were gone. So Morocco was a French protectorate between 1912 and 1956, I think it was. So the church was finished just before that. Nowadays, it's been consecrated. It's actually used as an art gallery, I think. So it's no longer a church. The vast majority of Morocco, 99% of the population, is of the Muslim faith. So now, beautiful building, but no longer used as a place of worship. So yeah, the French were. So Morocco was a protectorate. It wasn't really fully colonized like Algeria, for example. Algeria was run as a French department, and there was much more bloodshed for Algeria to get independent than Morocco. But the French have definitely left their marks over here. You'll see French everywhere. The majority of people speak French as well, although their first language would be Arabic. It's not actually Arabic. It's a mixed with Berber and French and Spanish. I think if people flew from Saudi to Morocco, they probably wouldn't understand everything the Moroccans say when they speak to one another. And you had an honest renovation. There's a little park on my right. Well, not a little, a large park over here. It's closed at night. Apparently there's the family part and there's the part for the teenagers as well, so they can go and smoke or do whatever they want to do. Hi Cheryl, and welcome everyone that just joined. It's called the Arab League Park. Sorry, nearly died here. There's there's not much to see, but behind those trees here you see a few walls. It used to be the site of a prison. The city was called Anfa in I think it was in Berber before it was named. It was actually originally named Casablanca, because it was the Portuguese that came here and they saw those white buildings, and eventually it was renamed Casablanca. We pronounce it the French way, so although it should be Casa in Spanish, Casablanca, White House, they actually call it the French way, so Casablanca. A lot of people call it Casa, that's it. Even in Saudi, even at the airport, the guy was like, "Oh, you're going to Casa?" Like, yeah, okay. Like if he was very familiar with the city. And welcome everyone that just joined. So we'll start with those big boulevards, because here I can fairly easily find my way around, although I've only been here for a few hours. And then I'll try to take you into the old Medina. But in the Medina, we will definitely get lost. It's a maze. So that's why I want to finish in the Medina. This way we can just get lost and finish the tour. If I started there, I wouldn't be able to get out. You'll see. If the gods of the internet are with us, you'll see. I think across the street it's some kind of a tax office. Most of those buildings are governmental. It says Administration des douanes et des impôts. Impôts what? Although it is French, it doesn't really make much sense to me. Most of the buildings would have French and Arabic. Sometimes Berber as well. So yeah, all of this is some part of a tax office. And on the other side you have a little skate park there with street art. None of the kids were wearing a helmet at the skate park earlier. If that was in the UK, most of them would. Now it feels, I mean, I could be wrong. I usually feel safe everywhere, but I feel quite safe around here. Although it is 9:30, well, it's probably 9:45 now, p.m. I don't feel any endangered in any way. So we are on GMT +1. Most of the year, Morocco is an hour ahead of London, apart from the months of the Ramadan. So through the Ramadan, they put it back down to GMT. I'm guessing so night comes a little bit earlier, so they can have some food a bit earlier. Oh, did you guys see the photo, the movie Casablanca? Oh, are you talking about Usual Suspect? What movie are we talking about? Ronnie, there are many different theories about why the White House. I think it's commonly agreed that the Portuguese just came along and spotted some big white buildings. But it's actually debatable which building exactly they spotted. Oh, you've seen it, Tish? I actually haven't. There's a cafe. Well, actually, I think I've got a photo. There's a. Let me see if I can find the photo. They have a cafe that's new. Hold on, let me cross. It's not from the 40s. It's actually from 2004, I think it was. It's meant to recreate the cafe in the movie. Let me show you. I think I've got a photo somewhere from earlier. Let me see. Should be there somewhere. Oh, there we go. So that's the Rick's Cafe. It's like a recreation of the one in the movie. We won't go all the way because it's on the seafront. Apparently the lady that opened it, she was working for the US Embassy, and you can see one of those trams. And after 9/11 and all that, she quit her job and she decided to open a cafe to recreate the cafe in the movie. Although I've not actually seen the movie, so I don't even know what the cafe looked like. When traveling, can you have a private room? Cheryl is asking. Well, when I was with my sister, we did, because to be honest, if you're gonna stay in a dorm, if you pay for 2 beds, it's pretty much the same price as a bad hotel. Although in India we had some really bad hotels. But what happened is that I think a lot of the hotels we booked, they were mainly orientated towards domestic tourism, and our credit cards didn't work. So at some point we gave up and we were like, okay, we'll book them on the spot. But waiting for the last minute through the Christmas and New Year's holiday is not necessarily the best idea. So we had some quite bad hotels with stinky toilets and stuff. But when I'm on my own, I prefer to book a bed in a dorm, because otherwise it can be a little bit pricey to have a room for myself. Anyway, let me show you this beautiful square. So we are on the King Mohammed V square. This is, I think that's the town hall. Down the corner there, that's the French consulate. I'm not gonna film it too much because you're not really meant to be filming consulates. And this is the Court of Justice there behind the trees, and the beautiful fontaine. At daytime you have a lot of pigeons over here. Oh, Tom is saying the cafe is a faithful recreation from the movie. Good to know, Tom. I've not seen the movie, so I cannot judge. And also I didn't step into the cafe. I didn't know she passed away. Oh, well, at least she's got a great legacy. So your beautiful fountain, according to Google Maps, it says French colonial piazza with pigeons. I mean, I don't know why Google Maps feels the need to tell me about the pigeons. You don't see much of them at night, but at daytime there are hundreds, if not thousands of them over here. You guys are making me want to see the movie now. I probably should when I get home. Down here, I think that's the army, this building here. And you've got the spot to take the photo with we love Casablanca, or we are Casablanca. I'm not sure what it's meant to be. And down that way you've got the bank, I was going to say the Bank of India, the National Bank of Morocco. And this beautiful building behind the tram there, that is a theatre. That was the largest theatre in the country until I think there's a bigger one in Rabat now. So Rabat is the capital. Although Casablanca is actually busier, it's fair to say that Casablanca is the economical capital, but the official capital is Rabat. Let me show you a view of the fontaine again before we go. You almost came, but you didn't. You should, Sansan. Now, this Court of Justice, I don't know if they had any good cases on, but I know about a good one that was, a good one, a very interesting one that was, it happened here, but somehow he was judged in Rabat. It's one of the worst sexual predators in history, really. At the beginning of the 90s, you had the police commissioner here in Casablanca. His name was Mohamed Mustafa Tabet. I don't actually know if it's pronounced Tabet or Tabit. If it is Tabit, it's actually quite funny because in French Tabit is your cock, and in that case it's quite accurate. But I think it's probably a pun because a few years later they did a movie called Tabit or Not Tabit. Anyway, horrible man. He started his career as an Arabic teacher, and he ended up being the headmaster of a school before he quit and joined the police. And he ended up being the police commissioner, and he, well, I don't want to say the R word, but you know what I mean. He was abusing a lot of young girls, a lot of them. We know about 518 victims in total, but he confessed to 1,200 at least. This is the Boulevard de Paris, by the way. All this part was built by the French. So it is meant to resemble Paris. Now let me cross over whenever I can. So yeah, he worked for the police, and a lot of the investigators were under his orders, really. So there were some girls that complained, but all the investigations were like shushed down, basically. And he used to film a lot of his abuse. And in 1990, there were already 2 girls that filed a complaint against him. They said they had been kidnapped and abused. They were not ready to let the case go. They were not ready to drop it, although the police officers tried. But you know, he was the police, so, and a lot of other men were involved as well. And eventually what happened in 92 is that there was a young man originally from Casablanca that studied in Milan, in Italy. And the young student was watching pornography when he recognized his sister. So he actually flew back to Casablanca to investigate, and he realized that his sister had sadly met Tabet. And he realized he couldn't really do much with the police over here because the guy was the police. So he actually sent the video to the Italian embassy because he was an Italian resident as well. And it's the embassy that sent the video to the king, because Morocco is a kingdom. King Hassan. I think the king is Mohammed, then Hassan, then Mohammed. Let me run. And it's actually the king that was able to start the investigation. And a lot of, I mean, they came and raided his home. They found a lot of cocaine and a lot of videos, over 100 videos with Mustafa Tabet, but also other men involved, quite parallel to the Dominique Pellicot case in France at the moment. And eventually Tabet was executed, firing squad, in 93. That was the last, although I think the death penalty is still legal in the country. That was the last person that was executed. So horrible man, and really a terrible case of police abuse and yeah. Anyway, let's go down towards the old Medina. We're still kind of in the French part of town. To my right, you've got all the shopping area, really. Yes, very sick to film themselves. Well, at least you've got evidence. So it's because this type of crimes are always quite difficult to prove, because if you let a few months go, it's really one's world against another. So at least, those perverts that film themselves, at least we've got evidence. So, but yeah, a lot of other men were involved as well. So he was, although he was running it, he managed to have a few people protecting him, really. It's very quiet around here, but you'll see as soon as we step into the old Medina, it's going to be much busier. If the signal holds, because I'm not sure. I wasn't really able to test the signal properly. The good thing is I'm not too limited here with the data. I got a fairly good plan. And the tram again. So there are only 2 cities in Morocco that have a tram system. It's here and Rabat. I've not taken public transport, but it looks like I have taken public transport, but not the tram. It looks like a very modern system. I did take a train this morning coming from the airport, and it was so nice because it was so easy. You just go to the counter, you buy a ticket, you get a time and you get a platform. That's all the basic information you need, because in India it was not the case. We struggled a lot with the trains because you get a ticket, yeah, but you don't have a time and you don't have a platform. So it can be a little bit tricky. This is a tricky bit here as well. See, it looks like I'm on the pavement, but I'm not. So you have those streets that are semi-pavements and semi-streets. It's all very confusing, really. And even in the old Medina, it's those tiny streets that look like they might be pedestrians, but they're not. You get people coming on a moped that actually come quite fast. So it can be a bit tricky. Anyway, we are on United Nations Square, which is it's the official center of Casablanca. So if you were to calculate the distance, for example, from here to Marrakesh, oh, hello you. There are a lot of little furry friends. Hello, do you want to be on camera? I've got no food, but you can say hello. There are hundreds of them. I got no food. Cute. I think there are even more here than in Greece and even more than Turkey. I've seen so many of them. Can I get a solo room in a hostel? Yes, Cheryl, yeah. And to be honest, I probably should. I think I'm getting a bit too old for hostels, really. Because it's not the greatest comfort. Even the one where I am today, it's it's still £16 for a bed in a bed. It's like it's an interesting setup, but it's not ideal. I probably should have spent a bit more and got my own room, but hey ho. You can see the clock tower from here, and we'll go around because I don't want to take the tunnel, because I don't want to. Well, we could try, but I think I might have a little bit of a signal cut, so I'll cross over wherever we can to go towards the Medina. You don't like the wandering fur babies? Yeah, it's a tricky thing, because if you decided to, well, there are some countries, for example, like Romania, that used to have a lot of stray dogs, and a few years ago, government took care of it. That's what I read. But what does it mean? Did they kill all of them? I mean, we don't want to have them killed either. Didn't see many stray dogs over here, but cats, yes, thousands of them. You don't really want to share with anyone. Well, usually when I'm abroad, I prioritize what I do rather than where I stay, because I don't spend much time at the hotel anyway. But yeah, sometimes it's a bit even less comfortable than what I imagine sometimes. Anyway, let me show you the contrast. So this is again the part that was mainly built by the time of the French. I think they have a big market down that way as well. And should we cross here? Yeah, let's try. Probably shouldn't do this, but hey ho. Oops. See those red taxis? They're called petit taxi. Most of the taxis here, well, if not all of them. So see the white taxi, that's a grand taxi. So you got petit taxi and grand taxi. The white taxis, they can go outside of town. Really shouldn't be here, it's quite dangerous. Let's go. So the red ones, the petit taxi, they'll stay in town. And the grand taxi, they can go outside, but all of them are shared. So apparently they're quite affordable. I didn't take any, but don't be surprised if they stop to pick up a stranger. They are shared taxis. Now this is one of the entrances to the old Medina, but let's go down the Marrakesh gate because it's nicer. And hopefully, I'm hoping that some of the traders will be closed by now, so we should have a decent signal, because when they are open, I think it's a bit too busy and the signal would go. And here is the police. And the clock tower. I think it's a reproduction. I think it's not the original one. They had it rebuilt. So you got four clocks at the top. And let's try to go into the Medina. Oh, you're going to Gran Canaria? Not too far from here. Well, Morocco is actually quite long. Well, it depends. The southern bit of Morocco, which is what we call West Sahara, it's actually debatable whether it belongs to Morocco or not. According to Moroccans, it does, but there actually are two different maps of the country. But it's not an area that's very populated. The vast majority of the population is actually in the north of the country. There we go. So this is the Marrakesh gate. So straight behind me, if you went straight down, you'll end up in Marrakesh. You were there in 94, Zekalov. So yes. Well, let me know if it changed. Probably not so much around here, because this is the old Medina, so it shouldn't have changed too much. A lot of the traders are closing. My understanding is that, well, I'll tell you in a few days. So Casablanca is not massively touristy, so you don't really get too annoyed by people trying to sell you stuff. My understanding is that it's going to be a little bit different when I go to Rabat or Tanger. So my itinerary is tomorrow I'm going to Rabat. Okay. Yeah.
You're welcome. We're close there.
Okay, thank you.
Where from?
I'm French, but I live in the UK.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I'll go down that way.
No problem.
Dis-moi. Ouais. Yeah. Ok, merci. I think he was trying to tell me to be careful, which is nice, but to be honest, I don't think anyone would attack me when I have a camera and I'm live. If you are any type of criminal, you probably want to attack people that are not filming, so I'm pretty sure I'll be safe.
Excuse me, I am Mustafa. Welcome to Morocco.
Nice to meet you, Mustafa.
I am Mustafa. Here is Old Medina.
Yeah.
Yes. Where you come from?
I'm French.
I am from Casablanca. Come in, I show you this Old Medina. Now is every shop is now is closed.
Yeah.
Yes. Come in, please.
So yeah, the vast majority of the traders are already closed for the day, but that's what we want because otherwise it's a bit madness at daytime.
And they is open, but now is open.
Yeah, I can see. Yes. Thank you.
Now I go and my house, but come in.
Thank you.
What is your name?
Natalie.
Natalie, welcome. Mustafa.
Nice to meet you, Mustafa. So you see these tiny little streets. It is a bit of a maze. And somehow, well, at least my GPS doesn't work very well in here. So even if I had my maps on, very often it's not very accurate. My hostel is actually here in the Medina somewhere. No, I'm good. I'll go down this way. Thank you.
I show you something. Original Casablanca. Picture. Come with me, please. Come.
I'm
nice.
يا شو عنده؟
محمد ستوب.
اي ستوب بخير.
yeah.
Hotel.
Yeah, I can see.
Marrakesh hotel.
Yeah, thank you.
Come. Take good pictures. Other hotel?
Another hotel.
Show.
Mustafa is giving me a tour.
Come in.
I'm gonna go down this way. I'm gonna go down this way. I wanna go down this way.
Morocco.
Right, so let's go. I said I would get lost, but I actually know exactly where I'm going right now. It's not that complicated. When everything is closed, you can kind of find your bearings a little bit easier. When you see the flag, it's actually a governmental building. So those artisans are actually managed by government. So on the flag you see the star. It's the 5 pillars of Islam. The 5, you know, the tip of the star. I'm not far, Sam. I'm not far. Still not alone though. Well, I'm not far if I can find my way there. But I'm okay, don't worry. Let's go down this way. Let's go the brighter way. So you can see how those tiny little streets can be a bit of a maze. And at daytime it's full of traders everywhere, selling a lot of goods, a lot of fake brands as well. I'm not going to be shopping for anything anyway because I'm on a hand luggage. But I think if you like your shopping, you probably would enjoy the old Medina. I think most people realize that I have a lot of witnesses when I'm live. Although you never know if people realize you're live or if they just think you're filming. Let's go down this way. It's actually getting a bit awkward now. Well, actually, Laura, you're quite right. It's fairly heavy. Especially the old one. My gimbal is quite old, so if I was to hit anyone with that, they'll be I'm gonna go back this way.
No. Sai, la police va Siri. Moi ici, ça va Siri. Video no problem. Comme ça. Non, comme ça. Siri. Madame, comme ça. Siri. Siri.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Right. We are free, I think. No, I think we are free. I don't think he was. I don't think he had any bad intentions or stuff, but. Yeah, we are free. So we're now on the outskirts of the Medina, so we're walking back down, I think back towards my hotel, although I'm not sure, we'll see. Yes, I've seen Sam, Cheryl, I've seen Sam in the chat. So yeah, we've gone around the Medina. There's another part of town that we won't see today because it's actually much further down. But you have an amazing mosque as well on the seafront that you can go and visit. I'm not going to because I'm actually jumping on a train tomorrow to go down to Rabat. But you've got, I don't think there are many mosques in the country that you can actually visit as a tourist. So if you get a chance to come to Casablanca, it's a nice one. Yes, exactly, Sam. I don't think he had bad intentions at all. It's it can be a little bit intimidating, but I think it was probably a good intention at first. Yes. Well, wine, I don't know if it would have been wine or smoke, but yeah. Cute. So if we went back up this way, they'll go back down towards the Medina. Je sais pas. I don't know why this lady is telling me not to do, but she's telling me not to do something. Maybe she's telling me not to go down that way. We'll see. Behind me is Casa Port, so Casa for Casablanca. So it's a huge port, and that's where I'll take the train tomorrow to go down towards Rabat. Well, London is probably no better. I'm pretty sure it's safe. Well, maybe not according to this lady. She was saying, Madame, no, but I don't know if she meant no, not this way. But don't worry, I'm safe because you're with me. We'll stop around here anyway. We don't want to go too far down because after that it's a big road going down towards. There's like a shopping center, and after that it goes all the way down towards the big mosque that we mentioned earlier. So anyway, the country is a kingdom, and the king, so that's Mohammed VI at the moment, is very popular. Apparently he's been kind of helping young people getting on the property ladder. So he's actually helping young buyers to buy their first flat. And someone told me with his own money, but I would have to double check that. I don't know whether it's with really with his money or with government money, but it's quite nice. I wish my king, Charles the Third, would do that, help me get on the property ladder. But yeah. Thanks, Linda. There are still a few people from the Jewish community here as well. In the old Medina, you can actually see the differences in the architecture. The buildings with little like balconies, that was actually the Jewish communities, because ladies from the Muslim communities, they did not need to see men through the balcony. So that's why you see different styles. And let me show you this building. That's actually where I wanted to end up. So we are good. So that's an old mosque here, the oldest one in town. So that's quite cool. The mosques over here, they have only one minaret. That's why the cathedral where we started, sometimes people confuse it with a mosque. It is not, because it's got those two too big one at the front, so it couldn't be two big minarets anyway. Yeah, the doors are beautiful. There are a lot of amazing doorways in the Medina. Anyway, let me show you my face again. That'll be the end of the tour. And let me know if you have any questions in the chat before we go.
Morocco is good.
Good. I noticed already. And thank you for coming tonight, guys. It's always amazing to have you along. Mitzi, no, you cannot walk me back to my hotel because I'll have to use Google Maps to be able to get there. But don't worry, once I get the camera away, I won't get that much attention on the streets. I'll be fine. Don't worry. Thanks, Cynthia. Thanks everyone for joining tonight. If you want to see a bit more of Morocco, I'm taking you to Rabat. Not tomorrow, but on my last day. So in about a week from now. So that'll be the capital, and it's a little bit earlier. I think it's sunset time, so at least you're not gonna get too worried for me. It's gonna be much busier on the streets. Thanks, Diane. That's amazing to see your support. Thanks, Pauline, as well, and thanks everyone for joining. If any of you were completely new to me, if you've made it that far into the video or into the live, if you live with me, you might want to subscribe so you don't miss out on the fun next time. And if you want to make sure you don't miss the live, you want to subscribe and hit the little notification bar so you get a little notification every time I go live. Cool. I don't see any questions, so I'm gonna let you go. Thank you guys. Have a great evening, a great morning, whatever time it is for you, wherever you are in the world. And I'll see you next week. And have a great one. Bye bye.